Good evening, friends, and welcome back to Highway to the Threemus Zone. This is the second match in the three-game series between PK and Fleury over here in the Earth Crystal group in the round of 16 of the finals. My name is Pixel Tamer. I am joined by Sheep Lion. We're going to be talking about neat game things tonight. Behind the scenes, we have two lovely people helping us. That is Gundam Pilot Spaz running the restream, making sure we get to see the footage, and Kyra will be pushing buttons so that everybody's on track as far as what's happening. How are you doing, Sheep?
I'm doing great, Pixel, and this is going to be a really fun match. Game 2 between PK and Fleury. PK is up 1-0 in the series. Fleury called out PK, wanted this matchup specifically. Now that he's gotten it, he's got his back against the wall.
Yeah, everybody in the top 16 is a very strong runner. There's no such thing as a free matchup at this point of the tournament.
Certainly not, and this race should be exciting. Game 1 was a really fast seed. PK finished it in under an hour, beating Fleury by 3 minutes and change. Tonight, PK shouting out Michigan State, it looks like, with the Spartan fight song team names. This should be a really good match. Fleury has to fight back here.
Sure. Like I said, there's no such thing as a free match. I'm sure we're going to get a very good race, especially since round 1 was so close as to be a 3-minute gap. And once our racers get off the character name screen, we can replace those fun objectives with the real objectives, which are also fun, but not quite as fun as the silly objectives.
Yes, the silly objectives, PK can already mark off number 3, because he likes to spell Fleury's name F-L-U-R.
I'm sure Fleury could do Objective 2 fairly easily.
That's what he likes to do. Both runners utilizing the Earth Crystal quadrant color scheme here. A win for PK puts him in the Great 8. He'll face the winner of Zilch and a Stone Dingley if he manages to pull this off. FF4FE, meanwhile, looking to force a Game 3, which, if that happens, will on Enterprise or some other network on Saturday at clock.
Yes, and we have a character and some objectives now that looks like a palom flickering back and forth on PK's screen. Always nice to see Quake Kid, the strongest black mage available to us. And along with our usual Forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant objective, we have 2 overworld objectives, 1 underground objective. We're going to make people sit through that Mist Village cutscene with the package. We're going to make people go wake somebody up with the Sand Ruby. And then we're going to go see who is impersonating Dr. Deluge and beat them up.
Yes, an interesting group of objectives. It looks like a key item hunt for this round. It's not going to be super jetty unless those key items all show up in a real easy location like Antlion or the Bull Defense. So these players might be on a hunt. There might be some chains that they might go digging for.
Yeah, it's going to be good no matter what happens, and it looks like we are getting started.
Yep, PK hoping to win Game 2 and weather the storm, but the forecast calls for flurries. We're underway.
Yes, and we've got Kane as our second character. A good, strong choice, has a wide variety of weapon and armor selections. We've got a Moon Boss as the Bigan replacement, and our first key item is the Pan. That is likely to incentivize our runners to try and skip the bull until they've gotten underground and do the whole thing in one shot.
Already we have some divergence. PK's takes Kane along. Fleury says, you just stay over there for a while. Hang out in the Tower of Wishes. We'll see if I need you later.
That's right. At this stage of the tournament, the perma-join flag is set, which means once somebody is in your party, they cannot leave your party. However, we've turned off the buy flag, so that means you can go pick up characters that you haven't taken yet by going to the Tower of Wishes, as mentioned. This flag was not turned on in stage 1 of the tournament, but I guess we wanted to make sure that people could actually pick their party instead of just panicking over character checks. And we see a gang guarded by the Kaipo soldiers in the Baron Inn.
Yeah, the soldiers have gotten confused about which inn they're supposed to actually be in, and while they're there, they've struck up a conversation with a vanilla Yang.
Yes. Yeah, I would call that French vanilla soldiers at that point.
Both runners headed to the watery pass early. There's a character check. The loot here is a little higher tier. With a Palom and a Cane, it's possible to get off to a fast start, but both these runners want to secure some loot before doing any objectives.
Yes, and our character here is Rydia, the less popular Black Mage. Her summons give her a bit more utility. She learns Warp much faster than Palom does, but we do not have the Warp glitch enabled in this stage of the event, so her early access to Warp doesn't really help all that much.
No, both runners telling her to hit the bricks for now. It really depends, her early game utility, on what summons are found for her. Some summons like Sylph and Asura can be found in shops. The Mount Hobbs can give her a random summon. Sometimes it's great, like Sylph, which is wonderful for the early game, or Titan. Sometimes it's pathetic, like Imp.
Right, and Sylph is really good for Rydia. There is a bug that we have still left on in these flags, where as long as Rydia has at least enough MP to cast Sylph, the MP is not actually spent, so she can basically keep your party going for the early to mid game until the spell power starts to become less useful.
Both runners went into the back of the watery pass, picked up a heroine robe, which will be really nice for any of the female characters, especially for Rosa. Maybe that Rydia if we find a decent whip for her, but a Rosa can be turned into a death-dealing archer machine with that heroine robe.
Yes, it is not good for your casting stats, but it's very strong defense. It's got good physical stats, and it can turn any of our ladies into warrior princesses. Maybe not Porum, just because she doesn't really have anything super special in that regard. But Rydia has some decent whips. Rosa has her aim command, and we've got a Yang up here at the Throne of Damcian.
Another interesting character. It's not likely that either runner will take him at this point, but Young is very good in the late game, can be slingshot very nicely with a D Machine or Mac Giant grind, and provide a lot of hit points and physical oomph to deal with the later bosses and that Z fight.
That's right. His scaling is primarily based on his levels and his strength score, not his equipment. His claws in particular do not give attack power, just different attributes. So a high-level Yang is going to be very effective even if he does not have a whole lot of gear. And speaking of Yang, I think that was Yang as the boss of the waterfall?
It certainly was. Not as a character, but we have a third Yang in this seed. And another Cane up on the mountain. On Mount Ordeals. Fleury not sending Palom up Mount Ordeals all by himself, but has a good idea of who all the free characters are, may decide to pump up his party to 3 characters heading over to Mysidia.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm surprised nobody's gone to Mysidia yet, but Fleury is taking care of that now, going to get 2 more free characters, might go and pick somebody up out of the Tower of Wishes while he's there.
PK checking that character on Hobbs, and it's a Sid. And Sid is interesting here, and PK takes him.
Speaking of interesting things, we've got vanilla twins over in Mysidia. So that's double Quake Kid and a White Mage. Takes the Porum, does not take second Palom yet. Is going to grab a Cane, though, it seems.
And I must have missed it, but PK did not take that Sid. At least not yet.
Right, is probably just clearing out the encounter so that Sid is added to the roster for later in case we need to do agility shenanigans. Which is made easier by that Dwarf Axe over in Fleury's inventory.
That is nice. -5 agility. Also can back row glitch Cane.
That's right, it's the only weapon that Kane is able to equip that has the back row flag.
You know, I've always thought that was selfish of Kane not to learn how to shoot a bow and arrow.
I mean, he's got spears, that's his gimmick. He can use those for good effect against flying enemies after all.
So Fleury with his 3-person party, the twins and Kane, heading into the Antlion Cave. The kids are going on a field trip with a responsible adult.
You can't see him on the stream, but here in the booth, the finger quotes were huge.
I said, well, responsible is not the opposite of traitorous.
I suppose. We have the true King of Baron attacking the bull today.
PK equips that dwarf axe. Odin shouldn't be terribly difficult at the spot.
Right. Use jump to deal extra damage. Exploit that lightning weakness if you can. Ice 2 will probably deal more damage than Lit 1 even with that weakness. But this hopefully won't be too bad. Equipping the dwarf axe after the battle begins means you don't suffer the effects of the agility penalty, as the battle speeds are calculated when the battle begins. Meanwhile, Antlion Cave, we've got the Dark Knight.
Welcome to everybody joining us from RPG Limit Break. Please don't spoil the race that just went on there. We just got started here. Our objectives, besides the usual forge, burn the village myths with the package, cure the fever with the sand ruby, defeat the boss of Lower Babel. Both racers have not yet done any key item checks. PK just finished the defensive Fabul, got an hourglass too. Fleury about to finish.
Is really, because you're very unlikely to find them in shops in these flags. They're a tier 5 item. The only shop that sells tier 5 items is Kokal, which means you've got to forge first.
Yes, a very nice pickup for him. Fleury waits out that Dark Knight and gets a Darkness Crystal.
That's pretty big. We've got access to a variety of grind options now with access to the Giant of Babel. We've got access to another character. We've got access to a gated shop. Probably not going to go to the moon quite yet, but that is an important piece of progression.
It certainly is, and the grind is open up if either of these runners decide that they have a final battle-worthy party. We haven't seen a tele yet, so I don't think either of these runners are going to be in a huge hurry to set that party. But there are 3 black mages available. There's a white mage. You got a couple of beefy dudes. There's a final party here if these runners wants to be cheeky about it.
That's right. You could take Palom, Rydia, Porum, and I guess you've got Kane at this point. So you take the Kane as your reflect target. And it looks like Fleury's going to go raise the whale. Well, PK gets his wins.
Fleury likely going to check that character, maybe check that shop up on the moon, and then he'll have a decision to make on what he wants to do. PK thought long and hard about taking that second Palom. Decided not to for now.
Yes, that is exactly Vanilla Twins. They even show up in the correct spots from the Vanilla cutscene. But yes, we have not found anything too spicy yet. Welcome, Randomania Raid. Glad you could join us. Hope you had fun with your other race. Please do not spoil the results of that race. We have people who may want to go check out that VOD later. If you do want to discuss spoilers, we have a spoilers chat for that on our Discord, which you are welcome to join and discuss to your heart's content on. But please not in this chat.
PK checked out the Mysidia item shop. There were both succubuses and starveils in there. That's worth remembering. And now heading over to Antlion Cave.
Yeah, starveils are a very nice utility item. You can never have too few of them. You can't have too many because they are expensive, but you always want a couple in your pockets. That's a Cecil. Not even going to sit through the cutscene and take the flight back to Earth. He's just not taking that Cecil right now.
Yeah, Cecil is a little problematic in these seeds because of the vanilla agility flag. That means if Cecil's in your party, every boss's agility gets tied to him, which is not a problem if your Cecil is rocking out with a Crystal Sword or an Excalibur. But until then, you can it can be a little dodgy.
Right, we mentioned the permajoin flag. Once you've got that Cecil, you can't get rid of that Cecil, so I expect our runners will not pick up a Cecil until they've got a good weapon for him, or if they want a low-level anchor.
PK sits through the speech given by the Dark Knight. Justice is not the only right in this world. Tacos are another right.
Yep, and PK will get his Dark Crystal from his Dark Knight. No symbolism there whatsoever.
He never explains what the other rights are. Fleury using the twin command to help dispatch that Odin.
Might be too little too late, though, because we see that as Odin casts out at Zukin.
That's Odin for those of us who don't speak whatever the next port of this game was.
I think GBA was the first one that maybe used that name for the spell. The PS1 remake, I think, still calls it Odin.
Fleury decides that Odin is a bit too much to deal with right now. There is Young available from the Baron Inn with a Thunderclaw, but that would be a bit too esoteric. Fleury's just going to head up Mount Ordeals instead.
Yeah, there's some discussion in chat going on about the merits of Tella. It's mostly his utility spells. His hit point growth is bad, his stat growth is bad, he only ever has 90 MP unless you use Soma drops. Yeah, it's just not a good time. But we've got Baigen at the first spot here. This isn't going to be too bad. It's a low physical attack spot, and this is a highly physical boss.
Now, Pixel, if for those of us who aren't quite sure, why is Tella so desired in these flags?
Sure. So the main reason, in my opinion, is because we have turned off Fusoya. So we can't get the good Sage, so we have to deal with the other Sage. He is good because he gets access to the weak spell very early, as soon as you clear Mount Ordeals. Combine this with the Darkness Crystal, and you get access to a fairly easy grind very quickly in the game. There's an enemy in the Giant of Battle called the D-Machine. It is vulnerable to weak, and unless you fail to kill it, it will only use attacks that deal damage based on your character's max HP. So the process is usually find the D-Machine fight, summon some D-Machines, weaken some D-Machines, hit them to KO them, throw a life potion on them to get extra experience, repeat until you've got enough to reach your desired levels, and then end the encounter and get hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million experience in one shot. Which is great for slingshots. Would you like to go on about the slingshot mechanics?
Sure. If you have a character that is 5 levels or below the median level of all the characters in your party, if you have a party of 5, then that character gets double experience from any one particular fight. And since these D-Machines get summoned one after the other, it's all one fight, and not a series of fights like you might get in some other grinds, like a Siren grind. So that makes that so much more valuable, and Fleury takes a wipe to that Baigen. The physical attacks weren't doing a whole lot, but those vampires were really taking the toll.
Yeah, Vampire is not a fun spell. I believe when monsters casted it, it does inflict the sap status on you, so your HP will tick down as we go along. You mentioned the Siren grind. That's not likely to be an option. With the shop randomization settings for this stage of the tournament, there's only one shop in the game that could potentially sell sirens. It is not guaranteed to sell sirens, and that is Kokol's Forge after you have made the Excalibur.
Both runners dealing with this Baigen, and the issue with Baigen really anywhere are those vampire spells, and neither of these runners have a ton of HP in their party right now. Their party's a little squishy. The other thing is, after you get one magic spell off on Baigen, he casts a wall on his body, so you want something that can pierce that wall, maybe a summon on Rydia or a Quake on your Palin.
Or a reflective spell, as we see on Fleury's side. I bet Fleury's can hope that those reflective spells hit Baigen, not just because that progresses the fight, but also because when Baigen loses both of his arms, he just resummons them. Which is why I try to avoid Berserker strats on this particular encounter. Meanwhile, PK is through. We see that as Baigen's main body dies, the surrounding arms just self-destruct.
And that Kane survives that explode. PK through on the first try. Very nicely done there.
Yeah, that's gotta feel nice for PK, because Baigen is never a fun spot, or never a fun encounter. This spot, I think, is less bad.
Yes, it could be worse. He could be on the moon, where he is just all kinds of rude.
Yes, Baigen at something like the Ogopogo spot is awful. What is not awful is finding the D-Mist.
Yeah, D-Mist is a bonus round in these flags. There's no no free key item. So after the D-Mist gets defeated wherever it is, you go back to Mist. You talk to Rydia's mom, who's on the ground, and she gives you a key item. So, this gives you 2 key items for the price of 3, and this D-Mist in this spot shouldn't be too difficult. It'll just take a little bit.
That's right. You mentioned the no free key items flag. That's a very common flag in most runs of Free Enterprise, at least the community races and tournaments and such. Normally in the vanilla game, you get a key item from visiting Edward when he's in the sickbed in Troya. That's a little too easy, so we have this flag where you can instead go on a D-Mist hunt and get the key item that way. And yeah, D-Mist is a tutorial boss. Its gimmick is that after 3 attacks, it turns into Mist. It's vulnerable while it's in Mist form. After a while, it turns back into a dragon and keeps attacking.
So if you have some menuing, very nicely done by Fleury, he's through. Yeah, if you have some menuing to be done, or you need to go get a drink or something, that Mist phase for D-Mist is a perfect time to do it.
Yes, and we've got PK through that D-Mist. We'll probably go straight to talk to Rydia's mom after completing Mount Ordeals, getting that key item, and unlocking the full potential of Cecil's and Tellas everywhere.
Yes, although the one issue with finding a D-Mist on Mount Ordeals is because so many things happen inside this changing room, it's easy to forget once you climb back down off the mountain to go check Rydia's mom.
Yeah, and I have been prone to forget that in the past, and that's why I use Big Dunkus Tracker. It has a spot where you can check off you've defeated the Mist Dragon, and then it'll pop a reminder saying, hey, you need to go to Mist Village. It's nice.
I've never forgotten D-Mist on stream. Never happened.
No?
You can't prove it.
Alright.
You can't watch the VOD. You can't see it.
We've got underground access.
Wow. That magma key is going to be huge. We already have that pan, so both runners are going to be incentivized to go pay Yang a visit and then go back to Sheila. In a key item dense objective seed like this, you want as many key item checks, free key item checks as you can get.
Yes, finding the Mom Bomb at this particular spot is unfortunate. This is a 1,000 hit point location, so like the individual encounter is not so bad. But as part of Mom Bomb's script, to ensure that she can actually explode and summon the lesser bombs, You weak, the game gives her an extra 9,000 health. So, yeah, it just slows things down a bit.
Yeah, this is really annoying, but the explode doesn't do too much damage, and there's a J item that PK has to sweep up the bombs. And Ordeals is completed.
And I'm sure FF4FE will be right behind, as he has just cleared his demist. So PK has cleared Fabul, FF4FE has not, correct?
Correct. Fleury got stonewalled by that Odin and said no thanks.
Right. So might come back to that when he goes to turn in the pan with the Sheilas.
So I've always wondered how the demist can fall off that bridge.
I don't have a good answer for you, sorry.
It seems like a weather phenomenon that maybe because I'm not a scientist, I just don't know about.
To be fair, this is a world with magic, and magic is plutonium. You can do whatever you want with it.
All right. PK makes his way down, and he will go straight to Agert.
Yeah, that's not awful. There's a shop check here. There's the access to the underground. We see life potions. That's nice. Kamikazes. You might want one or two if you run into plague.
Yeah, that's a nice little Agert shop. I don't think we had seen life potions before. Kamikaze's always good to have one or two on hand. Like you said, they're good against plague. If Twin Harp is required, it can help get you through that more quickly.
Yeah, another fun fact about the Demist, though, for the purpose of equipment that cares about dragons, Demist is not a dragon. Neither is Bahamut. I assume that being an Eidolon surpasses the bonds, the constraints of being a dragon.
There's all kinds of dragon stolen valor in this in this game. PK opens up that hole and dives right in.
Yeah, looks like he is heading for the Fey March first. You get to peek at a couple bosses, you get a free key item, you get a gated shop. With a save beforehand, we might see some looting on the way down. This is a nice spot. It has a trap chest. It has one trap chest. And now that we know where it is, we can just loot everything else with impunity.
When you're lucky, you're lucky.
Yeah, underground chests are generally going to have better equipment in them than overworld chests, and locations that contain trap chests also get a little bit of a bump, so this is a nice spot to do some looting.
Finds a ninja sword, which is useful for an edge if edge ever shows up.
And Miss Dragon does not hold value today, just a gold apple, which will increase the max hit points of a character by 100, helps for your low HP Rydias and Porums, but it's not progression. It's not a key item. It doesn't get you closer to double experience.
Rydia's mom is such a mom sometimes. My mom always gave me an apple on my way out the door. You have to eat some fruit today.
So that's the Luca key over in the Land of Summon Monsters trapped free key item chest. As mentioned previously, we don't have the warp glitch turned on. If there is progression in the Luca key, you're going to have to open up that cave and go all the way down by yourself in the snow, uphill both ways, etc.
Yeah, neither runner's going to be in a real hurry to cash in that Luca key, but it is a key item, and it is another check. And the nice thing about that Luca key with the demist already done is you can go and check your key item before you even have to fight a boss.
Exactly, yeah. This is, I think the only location in the game where you get the key item before you fight the boss. So if it's a key item you don't want, you can just leave. Speaking of leaving, PK sees the 3 Dark Imps and a Moon Sparkle in the boss positions. Dark Imps are basically a free fight since we have access to that Hourglass from Fabul.
PK does anyway. The issue is you have to be able to absorb 3 hits before you get that Hourglass off. and those Dark Imps punch hard in that spot.
And the Asura spot is kind of beefy on physical attack. We also find a Silk Web in a treasure chest here. That's nice for applying 2 stacks of slow. It works on anything in the game, including Threemus, and it just makes fights more manageable.
Yeah, there was another one on Ordeals, so a nice little stack of Silk Webs. Can never have too many of those.
Yeah, exactly. I try to buy 5 or 10 whenever I find them in a store. Both of our runners converging on Yang underground. Applies Pan to face, wakes him up, and the Sylph gives us the spoon. That's we're gonna call that French vanilla silverware.
Yep, at least we still have the pan, so we can trade it in for something else.
Yes, instead of trading in the pan for the spoon like we would in vanilla, who knows what we're gonna get.
Well, with a pan and a spoon, now we got a stew going.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can make dinner now.
Fleury going immediately back to Sheila to get those 2 key item checks. PK right behind him.
Yeah, would not be surprised to see Fleury take on the boss again first. He's got some more levels, he's got some more spells, has a better chance of defeating that Odin. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, his Palom has level 2 spells, might even have Virus, probably has Virus, might even have Quake at this point.
Looks like he does not have Virus. Virus level 19, Quake level 23 for Palom.
But that Lit 2 should be very nice.
Oh man, our Dragoons are going to be happy. That is Kane's ultimate weapon there. Sheila has the goods.
Yeah, a White Spear for the second turn in. I didn't see what Sheila handed us the first.
Oh, Sheila one was the Rat Tail, so
okay.
If we come across the hook, that's another key item check. Between that longsword in the King's Room and the Ninja Sword that PK found in the Feymarch, we've got good weapons should we find an edge, but that is much less likely than it was in the earlier stages of that tournament, since we switched back from C Relax to C Standard, which means the only spots that are eligible to generate an edge are those that are locked behind a key item.
However, since 2 objectives are looking for characters, both runners might think that they need to get those character checks that are gated behind key items and may keep a character spot open just in case.
Yeah, it seems like at this stage of the tournament, our racers tend to try to get by with 3 or 4 characters until they have to commit to something. Like, PK is still running around with 2 characters for crying out loud.
And so PK going into that Baron Inn.
I'm a little surprised at the use of the inn. Would have expected a tent to be burned. It's a bit faster, but if you need a heal, you need a heal.
Yeah, and this inn is less expensive than tents. So if you're budget conscious, that might play into it.
Yeah, it does take more time though, which is the thing.
And time is money.
It's Batasia asking about the Lunar Dais. That was a Dark Knight Cecil.
Yep, both runners checked out that character and did not sit through the cutscene to head back. PK dispatches the officers and soldiers and gets an Octomam in the second spot. And this spot is a little punchy.
It is. On the other hand, every 3 attacks the Octomam takes, it slows down. So if we can just slow him down enough, we will be able to make this fight much more manageable.
And this spot is a slow spot anyway.
If we really wanted to go crazy, we could throw out of our Silk Webs, but I would not advise that, considering that those virus spells are landing for 1500 apiece. Oh wow, Octomom died to HP from wow, that is a thing you don't see very often. That's kind of swag.
Yeah, the swag kill by PK, and gets a Vanilla Baron key from that Vanilla Yang.
Yeah, Vanilla Yang, Vanilla Baron key, French Vanilla Kaipo guards. The only person out of place here was the Octomam.
Yeah, this inn was serving vanilla ice cream as refreshments. And PK will check out that weapon shop. Probably will go follow that Baron key.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is a gated shop. You can get better equipment. There's a cursed ring. That's a big find.
Yes, it is. Curse ring, minus 15 to all your stats. Most importantly for our purposes, minus 15 for the agility.
Yes. The one thing about the Baron key to check is that it is slow. You've got a long walk through the waterway, and then you have a cutscene, then you've got 2 bosses, then you've got another cutscene. But it does open up 2 key item checks between the Baron Throne and the Odin spot. Chat predicting Wyvern, that is totally possible. We saw a Moonsparkle as the Baigan replacement today. So I don't think we've actually seen any lunar bosses in the wild yet. So it could be any of them.
No, there's one in the king spot, and I don't think Fleury checked
neither
that.
runner actually checked what it was. They just said, no, I'm not dealing with this right now. Yeah, we've got a Moonsparkle in Feymarch. We've got the Baigan spot is a Moonsparkle. PK wisely taking a safety save. Chat saying that Wyvern was in the Feymarch and that Fleury checked. So I will take a note of that.
Yeah, that would be a root spot for Wyvern. It's not like Wyvern's fun anywhere, but in that king spot is fast.
Yeah, and even though the magic isn't amazing on Leviathan, Mega Nuke is still Mega Nuke.
PK going into the encounter with another Sparkle. Does the double take.
Ogopogo has joined the party.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope.
Nope, indeed. Not going to be doing a ton of damage with that Palom, since he counters any magic attack he takes, and that's going to just do even more damage, and those big waves hurt.
Yes, Kane is armored up well enough that Ogopogo's physical attacks aren't doing that much, but PK doing something smart here and bluffing that Palom.
That's right. If a bluffed up virus just eliminates Ogopogo, it doesn't actually get a chance to counterattack. Speaking of which,
there's a reason PK's in the last 16, and in fact is the 3 seed with a 5-1 record in the table stages.
Yeah, we get another bit of the game over on PK's side. Fleury uses Lit 2 to take care of the Octomom. Exploiting that lightning weakness. Maybe doesn't have the levels for virus yet. And the true King of Baron is also on the moon.
Well,
rather the imposter.
Come back down to Earth. And D-Lunars.
I'm not super worried about them here. We have a White Spear. These are undead. And we have a Palom who can cast fire spells.
Yes, and no physical fighters that can only use the fight command. Kane can jump, and in fact does 1900 damage with that jump. So should be a relatively free fight.
Yeah. The D-Lunars, if you use the fight command against them, will cast Wall on themselves and then start bouncing virus on your party. Physical attacks that are not the fight command do not trigger this. So jump, throw, power, those are all safe with the aim command. Speaking of the aim command, we've got a Rosa.
Rosa has been pretty much an auto take for a lot of runners, and PK, it looks like, is no exception here.
That's right. Rosa has the stronger late game potential of our two white mages, mostly due to her higher hit point growth, and I believe she gets Cure 4 and Life 2 slightly faster than Forum. On the other hand, she does not learn Exit natively. You have to go through the Tower of Zot for that, and she learns Berserk at a couple levels later than Forum does.
But PK knows he has that heroin robe. Don't know what kind of bows and arrows he's picked up, but that Rosa should be online relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Warrior Princess Rosa is a thing. We just need to get a good bow for her. And in the trash is the package, so Baron Key is required to get Objective 2.
Fleury on his way to take care of that. PK will cash in that package immediately.
Alright, who's gonna burn Baron? Or who's gonna burn... Oh no, did PK forget that it's an objective? He reset out of that Bridia. That's very interesting, because we do need to burn Mist at some point. Maybe doesn't want to lock himself out of Kaipo without having to go through that second cutscene fight?
That could be. To complete the objective, you only have to burn the village. You don't have to take the character or even fight the boss in the Kaipo Inn. So he might think that he has the package in his pocket. I don't know if he's gone to Kaipo yet. I don't know if there's anything good there, but he might.
I don't think either runner has gone to Kaipo yet. The PK does go pick up second Palamum, so has access to Twin Magic. We discovered that you just need 2 twins to use the Twin command. It doesn't have to be one of each.
That's right. Any 2 twins will do. Even 2 Porums will do Twin Magic just as well as any other twins. And PK heading back into the Fey March.
Maybe going to take on those Dark Imps. With 4 characters, we've got a decent chance of surviving to get off an Hourglass, but we don't have a great way to kill them. Fleury through that Ogopogo learns Virus on his Palom.
That's nice to have. And yeah, PK might think that the Dark Imps down here are better than any other option he has at this point. There's Dwarf Castle, there's Keyless Tower, and there are these Dark Imps and whatever, and Wyverns, so...
Yeah, Keyless Tower is an objective, though.
PK is just 1 item away from go mode.
That's right, if we find the Sand Ruby, PK is ready to go. We just have to find a grind solution and go for it.
So PK has 4 characters now, 2 Palums, a Rosa, and a Kayn. If you were in his shoes, Pixel, who would you be looking for the 5th character? Do you already have it?
Let's see. We've got the makings of a very good Reflect party here. I don't know how likely 3rd Palom is. I mean, that would be the dream. Tala would also be good, so that we can grind up and power up that Reflect party. Overall, I'm probably looking for another mage.
There is a Rydia available in the Tower of Wishes right now.
Yeah, we have access to 2 Rydias. One's already in the tower, one is waiting for it at the package spot. And the Hourglass does go off before the Dark Imps start taking down Kayn. Oh, we've got Medusa arrows. That's how he's going to fight.
Great game knowledge there. Medusa arrows can cast the stone effect, and these Dark Imps are not immune to stone.
Yes. Meanwhile, we see breath reflect strats going on over on Flurry's side. The breath attack that dealers use can be reflected, and while they are performing this attack, they are not set with the boss flag, so you can bounce it right back on them, and it makes them really easy.
Nice frog strats there, and a frog is going to walk out of Baron.
And PK resets, maybe trying to maximize experience on his party with a life glitch, and was unhappy to not get the second life potion off.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity with these Dark Imps in particular to get a lot of experience. They can be life glitched. This spot has a lot of experience, so he's gonna go try it again.
And yeah, the Hourglass gets off again, which is great. The Dark Imps are still attacking because their actions were already in the queue, but with 4 characters, we will survive. We'll get a chance to life up our party. Flurry gets the package. We'll see if he remembers that it's an objective and goes to see who's going to burn down this village, because we didn't get that. We just saw that it was Iridia.
So in chat,
Oh no, both players reset out of Iridia.
is life not applicable to stone?
That might be the case. I don't think PK would misinput multiple life glitches like that. He's just too good at the game, so maybe life doesn't work if you petrify an enemy.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
And our restreamer, Gundam Pilot Spaz, confirming that he learned that the hard way.
PK
And
takes that much
skip the hook. That's more progression.
It is. We have a rat tail to check with that. Have to imagine PK will be all over that.
Yeah, we're going to know about that Wyvern and just come back to that later. It does unfortunately mean we have a potential triple dip of Fey March, which is slow because you just have to run through that horrible chamber of lava and pain and doom.
I don't think PK knows that it's a Wyvern yet, so I think he's going to go learn something.
Yeah, he's gonna go find out this Wyvern the hard way. And unfortunately, this is not a location where one reflected Mega Nuke will defeat Wyvern. Yep, there's the reset.
So PK has learned 2 things in a very short span of time, so hopefully he feels like today has been worth it.
And we've got Mylon sending a Lunar Sparkle up to the upper tower of Babel.
Yeah, we haven't seen either Mylon yet, I don't think.
We have not seen either Mylon.
So we could be looking at either here.
I think with the current setup, I'd want Mylon and Friends. Hey, I called it. PK quaking his way through the trap chest, gonna get some more experience, gonna get a powerful item. Going to learn Quake on second Palin. Rosa gets Berserk. This is some big power-ups for his party. That's a Stardust Rod. That's even better.
Just an absolute bonanza of a trap chest for PK.
Stardust Rod is the most powerful rod in the game. It gives plus 15 to your black magic stat. It can be used to cast Comet as an item. It is good times.
Flurry up here against this Mylon. The problem with the boss of Lower Babel spot, the Dr. Luge spot, there's a ton of hit points up here. With these gas, they all like to spend a long time doing their drain attacks. So this spot will take a little bit.
Yes, but if you play it safe, it's not very difficult at this spot. As long as there's at least one ghast alive, all Mylon will do is tell the ghasts to attack, and they cast a weak vampire. If you hit Mylon, he will counterattack with Lit 1, so the damage is not going to be that huge. It's only when Mylon is alone that he starts actively fighting. But Kane is just cutting through those ghasts with that White Spear. 2,000 damage a pop.
Yeah, and the magic attack power here is not that great.
As we see from that 12 damage Lit 1.
Mylon's just getting warmed up. He could do better than that.
Yeah, he did better that
time. He did 14.
He did 14 damage. And this form of Mylon is not undead yet. That's why we don't see massive damage coming out of the White Spear.
PK following Fleury up the tower.
That melee attack was only 49 damage. This is pretty safe at this point as long as nothing silly happens. Rat Tail has not been checked yet. We got the hook, we have not found out what's there yet.
Another thing I noticed, that's a lunar sparkle that this Mylon and friends vanquished at the top of the tower.
Right, so that means that either Pale Dim or Plague are not in play.
Yeah.
PK not bothering to... Oh, there's the Adamant.
That's one half of Forge.
Yep, and as I was saying, PK not really bothering to do anything but power overwhelming here, just sends one Quake out and wrecks the ghasts.
Welcome to our friends from Random Mania 2. We're about 48 minutes into this seed. Fleury has completed his 4th objective. Both runners looking for a Sand Ruby or a Legend Sword at this point.
That's right. Both of our runners have checked the package, saw that it was Iridia, and noped out. I hope they remember that's an objective. Or maybe they're just being more tactical than I and saving that cutscene for later. We haven't seen anything too spicy yet. We got a Wyvern at Leviathan, which I suspect our runners are going to do everything they can to avoid. The reward for defending Fabul was an Hourglass, and the reward for Mist Dragon was an apple. Still just asserting that we're not going to see the package turned in until after the Sand Ruby. That makes sense, I guess. It is potentially fewer cutscenes. Well, fewer trips to Kaipo.
Mm-hmm.
And Silch is better at this game than me, so I will take his word for it.
Fleury, meanwhile, heading into that dwarf castle. Magus Sisters in the first spot. Could be a little tricky here.
Do we have Quake on Fleury's side yet?
That is the question. Quake would be very effective against these sisters.
Quake, one of those black magic spells that pierces Reflect. More importantly, deals a significant chunk of damage to all enemies, and is not divided among the enemies like other AoE spells can be.
And Quake Kid is online for Fleury.
Cool. And the chat, this is not GDQ, we're not going to go kill the animals. We're not even on planet Zebus.
Although Quake Kid has to stay upright in order to be operational.
This is true. A Palom that is taking a nap is not a Palom that is casting Quake. We have had animals miss. I've seen it. It's like a 1 in 460 chance that we'll be fighting the animals tonight, though.
PK checks his key items and decides, you know, that rat tail really needs to get turned in before I tackle Dwarf Castle. It's the cardinal rule.
Check your objectives, check your freebies.
Fleury takes a hard wipe to those Maggot Sisters and decides maybe the Dark Imps would be better at this point.
Yeah, he only has 3 characters, but if he can survive, it's going to be that hook, which is going to turn into a tower key.
A lot of double dipping so far in this seed. That might lead to some heartburn and agita among our runners. If you're constantly retracing your steps, you can't feel all that confident that you're in much of a lead.
Oh yeah, I expect that both of our runners are feeling behind since, as you said, we've seen a lot of retracing of steps.
Especially since this Rat Tail was open to PK before he did Keyless Tower. So he might be thinking that that Fleury made that play and saved a long walk up.
Yeah. If this is something, it's going to be feel bad. If it's nothing, it's probably still going to feel a little bit bad because of the time spent, but it's going to feel less bad, I imagine.
Fleury takes a wipe to those Dark Imps.
We see an antlion as the placing the Dark Imps goes down in 1 virus. The Super Cannon is destroyed.
Antlion operating the Super Cannon. Really talented Jaws. Fleury gonna give these Dark Imps another shot. Gets everybody up. Fleury probably wanted to get in that Dwarf Castle to check that character. Maybe looking for a Tella.
Yeah, we have not found Tella yet. This Dark Imp fight is going to take longer than it did for PK because we don't have a Rosa with Medusa arrows. Although both PK and Fleury did take a wipe. PK's was self-inflicted, but still 2 fights either way, so it's not going to be too much time lost.
PK falls onto the Enterprise and gets that Sand Ruby.
We're in
PK
go
is
mode,
go mode.
friends. Go mode at about 54:30. Suppose this Sand Ruby is not Tella. How do you grind?
With that White Spear Cane, maybe take a Young and see if a Mac Giant grind is on the table.
Yeah, if we can get a Thunderclaw, that would be good. Get a 3rd Rydia from the package spot, or from the Sand Ruby, excuse me.
What do you think, Pixel? Do you think a Door grind's on the table?
I think door grind is definitely feasible. We've got the Luca key. We're not going to have enough doors to get to endgame levels at this point. Although we do have 11 key items, it looks like, so it's an option with double XP.
Fleury gets through those Dark Imps and has his hook is immediately going to get that Rat Tail. And PK now going to turn in that package.
And let's find out who is burning down the Mist Village today. It is the Monks of Fabul!
Those traitorous tradeabouts.
I guess after their castle was sacked, they got really angry and needed to go work out some anger.
Rydia's all over This radio will summon Titan, cause a big fissure, and then PK will have to figure out where he's going to get some levels.
Chad is hyping up the Mac Giant grind. That's an option. We don't have machine-killing weapons right now, but power Palums with enough bluffs, then maybe.
Yeah, that's really the issue. This Kane is rocking a white spear. I don't know that we've seen any good ogre axes or anything like that.
Yeah, nobody's checked Tomra yet. It's got a few chests, it's got a weapon shop, it's got Job Dwarf. Nobody's validated the seed yet.
Yeah, the Tomra Chamber of Commerce is really disappointed in both runners' routing decisions so far.
Yeah, although I suppose this does mean, with what we found so far, that the moon is haunted. We've got Go Mode on Earth. The only thing that could possibly be up there at this point is the Legend Sword.
That's right, so Fleury picks up one more kid.
PK's checking Dwarf. Probably hunting Portella. PK's not checking Dwarf, he's teasing me.
He thought about it.
PK appears to be having some indecision about what to do next.
Yeah, there are a lot of choices. Do you make this play for a character who might not show up? Do you go searching for robot smashing weapons? Do you?
I guess if it was me, I have 2 Quake kids. I can blow through the first boss of Dwarf pretty easily. That's a character check. If it's not Tella there, I just grab a 5th character from the Tower of Wishes and start grinding.
After the Tomra shop check, PK heads back to Dwarf Castle.
We see more life potions, but we've got almost 40 life potions. We don't really need them right now.
Nope, clear out some space.
Oh yeah, there's vampires here. 1200 HP strats are a thing.
And that appears to be the play. PK picks up a pile of vampires.
That's right, and we have Starbales in Mysidia, so he might just go liquidate more inventory to stock up on those.
He has to stop by there for another character anyway.
I don't know, 15 vampires probably not enough, but if you've got spells you can cast on some of your characters, that reduces the number of vampires you need. The important thing is just to trigger those nukes. I'm curious. It's going to be Sid. I thought it was going to be Yang, but I guess until you get to the really high levels, Sid does have better HP growth. And that's kind of what you care about right now. Oh, and the Wooden Hammer does extra damage to machines. So that's an option if we do Mac Giants. Fleury shows off that the White Spear can be used to cast Holy.
And takes care of that Antlion. Will get his Sand Ruby and be in Go mode as well. And be faced with much the same dilemma.
PK is going to peek at the Dwarf bosses. Very interesting.
We'll see if he wants to stick around after that character check.
I don't know. I mean, he's got 5 characters at this point. He took that Sid. I'm not sure why he's checking more characters.
No, so this
maybe this is just for the experience points.
And it was pointed out in chat, neither runner has checked the Hook character. If Fleury is really desperate, you could go down to the Ebling Cave and see who's down there.
Yeah, you could. The problem is... Actually, Fleury has Exote's got up for him. So he can take that character and get back pretty easily. I would be less inclined to see PK do it because he doesn't have exit. Again, that Rosa does not learn exit until clearing the Tower of Zot.
And that's academic at this point because PK's already cast his lot. Going with that. Is that a Wario Sid?
Yeah, that's Wario Sid. I'm a fan of the Mario series Sids. It's not Mega Man Sid, but I like Wario Sid as well. Oh, there's a poison axe in the weapon shop in Tamra. That's giant killing gear.
And Fleury says, "Yes, please. Give me one of those. And don't give me a job dwarf. I don't care."
I imagine the Tamra Chamber of Commerce is less unhappy at Fleury since he did go and spend some money there.
Yeah, PK did check the item shop eventually, but was looking for vampires. Didn't find them there.
Yeah, he checked the item shop, but not the weapon shop. We've got an evil wall as the second boss, and the character we will not be taking is a Sid.
Evil wall not bad in the spot, only 3,000 hit points.
It is a somewhat fast spot, but this is not great physical attack power, so we're gonna just see a few melee attacks or Quake, and this will be done.
Fleury gonna be disappointed at the Sand Ruby.
Is thinking about it. I think Fleury took the Rydia.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's a Rydia.
So that's three
That's
black
reflex
mages.
strats.
Pure reflect, and we'll see how he gets those levels. Do you have a thought on the grind options available to Fleury?
I don't know, man. I am just very intrigued to see what our runners do.
Yeah.
This is an area of the game that I'm not as good at.
PK gets through that dwarf castle.
Well, we've found some good ninja swords this seed, but our ninja is just doing a really good job of hiding.
In another castle, apparently.
I mean, yeah. There's only a couple places where he could be. One of them is a tower. One of them is near a castle.
PK heading back above the surface. It might have been just to get some levels on Sid.
Looks like stocking up on Starveils. Liquidate more inventory to do so.
That Murasame's out the door.
Yep, that spoon is worth almost 2 Starveils.
Everything must go.
It's a Threemus sale. Everything must go. And we're boarding with the whale. We're heading up to the moon. We're gonna say no thank you to that Cecil.
And PK decides the die is cast. Gonna go with 1200 low-level strats. Unless he decides to fight some moon bosses on the way.
I don't see that happening.
Neither do I.
Everyone say hi to Cecil.
Oh, he's a paladin now. That's nice for him.
He is a paladin now. We went and solved his problem for him, and he rethought his life as a consequence.
Yeah. And now he can live the life of a monk in the Tower of Wishes.
I mean, he's a magic user. He'll fit in with the mages of Mysidia.
That is one of the sadder things about the permajoin flag is if you have 5 people in your party and you go to the Tower of Wishes and talk to one of the characters there, they say, "I'm stuck here forever."
Yeah, and we're seeing some additional divergence here. Fleury is setting up to do encounter manipulation outside of Baron. One of the things about this tournament is the admins wanted to make the machine grind a little less appealing, so they turned on the "you can't run" flag, which obviously means you can't run away from random encounters. So the normal manipulation of fighting and running from encounters in the Giant of Babel became a lot less feasible at low levels, because you can't actually defeat those enemies. But some enterprising members of our community found a way around that by manipulating encounters using the ones outside Baron that are very difficult to lose to. We have some charts, we do some step counting, then we turn off encounters, go into the Giant, turn encounters back on, and profit.
Yep,
Yes,
and it looks like
that's the joke.
It looks like Mac Giants are the play.
Yes, we do have enterprising members, and they will give out their work for free.
Well, that's market inefficiency, it sounds like to me.
Are we allowed to say communism on this channel?
This is a very capitalist game, though.
It's in the title, after all. Random Chicken commenting on the encounter manipulation. We're on some very advanced flag sets right now for this tournament. If you are playing on the easier stuff as you are learning this game, you don't need to do encounter manipulation if you don't want to. There's plenty of ways you can gain levels. We've just turned off a bunch of them to make this tournament flag set a bit harder for our very experienced crew of runners.
Yes, that's one of the good things about this game is there are all kinds of ways of getting into it. It's very beginner friendly, but it's also hard to master.
Exactly. This game has a ton of depth and replayability, and that's why I stick around.
PK made his adjustments, now going into the bowels of the moon. While he's walking, I want to thank our restreamer Gundam Pilot Spaz, our tracker Kairu for their hard work, and it looks like we have a question to ask, Pixel.
Yeah, I don't see the customary flags. Maybe people are tired tonight. But we don't randomize the Threemus in the boss pool. He's kind of painful. Big Bang is Big Bang, and it hurts a lot. So what we do instead is we randomize his appearance because this is a randomizer, and we want him to feel included. So between our art lead Skellakitty and our developer Boardface, we've got like 460 or more different appearances that Threemus can put on for any given seed. So it's time for us to ask, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
There will be a butt. It will need to be kicked, and PK will need to do it at low levels.
And depending on the butt, it may be in multiple locations.
Has Sid in the middle, probably has a Dwarf Axe on that Sid and a Curse Ring, if I had to guess.
Did PK get the curse ring from the Baron Armor Shop? I don't remember which one of them it was. I want to say it was PK.
I want to say that too, but I'm not 100% sure.
Alright, chat, get your last guesses in. Who is Threemus today? Or our Palums are just gonna be a little full of hot air in the meantime. Who knows?
PK does love drama, and he's going to draw this out as long as he can.
We do see some Mac Giant grinding going on over on Fleury's side. All these guys do is physical attacks. So as long as you can maintain the blink spell with your Porum, this is fairly safe. Although, unlike the D Machine, you are not able to use weak on them. You just have to deal a lot of damage to them to make them go away.
No, but this party is well equipped to deal a lot of damage. This is a little bit of a slower grind than the D Machine, but beggars can't be choosers.
Yes, and the crystal is getting deployed over on PK's side. Normally, when you use the crystal and the fight starts, all buffs get removed, but Bluff is a stat change, not a status effect, so it does not get dispelled as long as you don't change your equipment. So, we're cheesing things a little bit over here.
It is true colors tonight.
Is that a slime? It's a pouring from Ragnarok Online. That takes me back. Welcome, Randomania 3 friends. Welcome from your race. Please do not discuss spoilers in this chat. We have a lovely place for you to do that on our Discord. We've just got PK starting his Threemus fight against your basic enemies from RO, while Fleury is doing a Mac Giant grind, and will presumably be trying to make up some time after that.
Don't be fooled by its appearance. This pouring mess is not as squishy as it appears. Threemus, of course, will do all the stain attacks. He always does, even when he's a cute little pink thing. Bluff Paladin's doing virus for 2,200 or so a pop, which is nice.
Yep. Every bit of damage helps, especially when you are depending on counter nukes from Threemus to do the bulk of it. The way this strategy that we're employing over on PK's side works is you want to get as many nuke counters out of Threemus as possible and reflect those back onto him and tell him to stop hitting himself. Any kind of magical attack will trigger the nuke counter. This includes the crystal, this includes vampires. Recently I saw it being done with echo herbs, which was particularly amusing when combined with the boss sprite, which I'm not going to spoil.
Yeah, there are some items that are prized for their low animation notices, I think.
Yeah, but animation time definitely adds up on a fight that's going to be this long.
I haven't been counting the number of Mac Giants that Fleury has been doing.
I'm sure Fleury has been counting, and we'll do exactly the number of Giants he intends. See this nuclear slime going about its business. We're using Star Veils to put up reflect status. We're going to bounce those back and forth. One nice thing about triggering this nuke counterattack is it does lower Threemus' magic power, which means you can make these big bangs much more survivable even at low hit points. Like, none of these characters would survive a full power big bang right now. That attack normally deals at minimum 1,800 damage.
Nope, but this big bang will be a nice low power. Although that Rosa goes down.
As Rosa goes down.
Yeah, that'll be a scramble to get that Rosa back up.
Yeah, not specifically because of her healing abilities, because everybody's got Reflect Up, but it's going to be for more actions, so you can get more reflected nukes before the next Big Bang. Oh, we're bouncing the vampires. I bet what's going to happen here is we're going to raise Rosa, and then we're going to use reflected attacks until we get the Starveil up on her, since reflected spells do not trigger counter attacks.
It was a nice roll on that virus.
Kane's in love with the slime.
Would Kane be the maiden in that? Kane maiden?
I don't know enough about his personal history to say one way or another.
Yeah, that is a bit of a personal question. Probably be a HEPA violation.
Meanwhile, Flurry's still grinding, still keeping up those blinks. Things seem to be going fairly smoothly.
Yeah, very smooth grind for Flurry so far. Nobody's been in any real danger. The Mac Giant grind, because you have to deal so much damage, it can go sideways in a hurry if you're not careful, but Flurry is being very methodical and handling it very well.
Speaking of things going sideways, we're down to one character on PK's side.
Yeah, that Sid is at less than 800 health and falling.
Yeah, Big Bang inflicts a sap effect, so you can bleed out if you don't heal yourself. Flurry appears to be done grinding, deployed a stop spell on that Searcher, so it will not summon any more Mac Giants. Uses a Kamikaze on his Kane. That will prevent Kane from getting this huge pile of experience and probably set him up to be the agility anchor.
Yeah, no need for a melee fighter for the fight upcoming. He's got 4 mages putting out big spells.
Yeah. Threemus is shaking. We're gonna see another Big Bang pretty quick. But we do get the Starveil up. We'll hopefully survive. But I don't think this one is nerfed, so this is probably a wipe. Yeah, that's a wipe. That's unfortunate. This is a slog of a fight when you're doing these strats. Because you're not putting out as much damage as a fully leveled party would be. We suddenly have a race again, folks.
We do. And PK decides those levels are too low. Is going to try and see if there are some easy experience he can get on the way down.
This was PK's to win. We're very even again all of a sudden.
And I think Flurry might be in the driver's seat because his Z will go much faster than PK's could hope to, even if PK does it very smoothly.
Yeah, even Rydia's slower spell progression compared to Palom is not going to be as much of an issue with the double experience you get for these slingshots. For those not in the know, Palom learns Nuke at level 52, Rydia learns it at level 50. However, Rydia's experience curve is steeper than Palom's, so Palom actually requires less total experience to get Nuke than Rydia does.
And the sitting through the tabulation of all the new spells Flurry learned almost took longer than the grind itself.
We're going back into Mid-City. I'm probably going to stock up on Starveils, They're kind of critical to those reflect strats. Yep, goes for broke, buys 10 more Star Bales. I don't think there's a Cursed Ring on Fleury's side, so we're going to be rocking whatever Kane has for agility. Probably going to set up Rosa as the reflect character. She's got the most health. She's most likely to survive the Big Bang.
Fleury doesn't have Rosa, though.
You're right. Porum. Who actually does not have great hit point progression, so I don't know who the reflect target is going to be. Probably one of the Palins, or just whoever gets their turn first.
Might be. At least in the grind fight, both Palins were on top in the first and second slots. PK back in the Threemus fight. Going to start it earlier, but Fleury will be at breakneck speed down to the bottom, you would think.
Oh yeah, Fleury might stop in the save room. Hopefully stops in the save room just in case, but like that's the only thing that's gonna get in his way between now and Threemus. And, yeah, as mentioned, this is anyone's game at this point. Fleury is not fighting Threemus yet, but don't count him out because his Threemus fight will be faster than PK's.
Yeah, with the amount of damage that Fleury will be able to put out, it'll be more like a blizzard for him.
I see what you did there. I like it.
Meanwhile, PK doing his second fight against the Squish. So just a reminder of what of how close this race is and what the stakes are. If PK pulls this out, he wins. He goes to the Grade 8 against either Zilch or Stone Dingley. If Fleury wins, there's a Game 3 winner-take-all on Saturday night, 10 Eastern.
Yeah, and I don't know about other results from tonight yet, but if PK does take this, he will be among the first runners to advance into the round of 8. Possibly the first. Again, I have not seen tonight's other results.
No, neither have I. We've been slaving away over this.
Over some hot internet trying to give everybody content.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch the Invenerable Dusty Griff match. Apparently it was extremely hype.
Yeah, at one point I was watching 4 matches at once, and it was just, it's all too much to take in.
Yeah, I had this whole job thing that gets in the way of playing and watching Free Enterprise. It's really annoying.
Well, not with that attitude.
But yeah, everybody who's made it to the top 16 is a very strong runner. Don't count anybody out. I probably made some mistakes in my bracketology by going strictly off of race spot stats to try and figure out who was more likely to win, because a lot of the new talent has been rising very rapidly, and you know, a loss 6 months ago might not mean anything compared to where they are today.
Well, while we're thinking about it, Pixel Tamer, it has been a lot of fun commentating with you, so give Pixel Tamer a follow. Also, our behind-the-scenes staff, Gundam Pilot Spaz, Kairu, thanks so much for your help. Give everybody a follow, and give our racers a follow.
For sure, we have some nice bots that will give you all the relevant Twitch links, so if you want to follow.
So
we only have 2 restream races tomorrow, but we'll talk about those after the next exciting event in the Threemus fight.
So Fleury's going to go with Reflect Strats here, and for those of us who aren't quite sure about the mechanics of it, Pixel, why is it so fast? Why do Reflect Strats takes so short.
Sure. So Threemus has a bit over 100,000 hit points. So do a couple other bosses, but Threemus is the one we care about right now. The Super Nintendo, being a 16-bit console, only counts up to 65,000 and change by default. If you want, you can do big integers. It's complicated. I'm not going to get into it here. What the developers chose to do instead is to simulate having more hit points by using a counterattack script that will refill Threemus' hit points. So when you damage him or trigger a counterattack of any kind, if he's at a certain hit point threshold, he will do a one-time hit point refill and go to the next phase of the fight. As we mentioned earlier, a reflected attack does not trigger counterattacks, which means you can bypass the HP refill from Threemus and just burn him down before he gets a chance to heal himself. The drawback of this is, because you're not triggering counterattacks, you're not triggering the counter nuke, you're not lowering his spell power, big bangs are going to hurt more. So it's a bit of a risk-reward scenario. You can almost always safely nerf the first big bang, but the second one you're probably taking it full power to the face. And you really don't want a third one.
Fleury did nerf that first big bang, and actually the counter nuke went off of his Star-Veiled Palom. Very lucky there.
Yeah, gotta love it when the counter nuke hits the reflect character. It's just free damage.
And Fleury is putting out tons of damage. That was a quad 9 nuke followed by a 9700.
Yeah, Fleury's got some serious advantage with the Palom spell progression. PK has the Stardust Rod, but will not be getting as much value out of it thanks to the low hit point strats we see on his side.
Big bang on Fleury's side leaves everybody up.
Yeah, and Kane will probably just play Chemist as long as he's alive. Heal up that reflected character since you can't heal him with magic right now. It'll just bounce off onto Threemus.
I don't remember seeing Cure 3s. Kane using Cure 2s. If this fight lasts a little bit longer than Fleury intends, it could be an issue.
We've got enough quad 9s that this is probably in the bag already, but we're not going to count either of our runners out. We've got some very good people on both sides of the event. There's the flash.
Yeah,
Fleury has done it. Coming back from behind to even out the series, forcing Game 3. Fleury is still alive. May or may not go after some cake.
What a race from Fleury. Decides to do the Mac Giant grind to get 4 mages going brr, and that turned out to be the right play. He's the winner, and we are headed to a winner-take-all Game 3 on Saturday night.
And looks like we are going to be joined by Fleury for an interview in just a moment. And there he is, tonight's winner, FF4FE. GG's. Great victory tonight. How do you feel?
Thank you, but I kind of feel like I got away with one this race. I did not feel like I played particularly well, but hey, anytime you can walk away from a game with a win, you take it, right?
Yep, and even if you don't feel great about this one, you've got another chance to do really well on your next race and advance to the round of 8 potentially.
Yep. I mean, even though I think we both predicted 2-0 for ourselves, I think both PK and I kind of knew this was very likely to go 3, and I'm happy I got this one. There were mistakes. There were many, but the 2 big ones were, good golly, Miss Molly, that Baigen fight was bad.
Yeah, Baigen was rough for you.
Yeah, like I could have just jumped and been fine. I tried to get cute with twin magic. Hey, vampire hurts a lot when you only have like 150 HP. That was not fun.
I think I saw you try a reflex strat as well.
Yeah, I was like, well, if I can get the arms down, I can bounce an Ice 2. And I bounced 3 straight Ice 2s onto the arms. And I'm like, well, I got to hand it to him. He's doing a pretty good job. But that's that at that point, I'm like, well, like our last race was so step for step that something like that could it's gonna get me if we hit like super early go mode.
And go mode was somewhat early this seed, like not a crazy jet seed, but it was fairly accessible for sure.
Yeah, I mean we got to 10, and that I think kind of ended up being the difference. Funny thing about this race, while in the missed cutscene, I'm like, okay, I have to do a Mac Giant, but how many am I supposed to do? I know Rydia's 32, but Pal, I don't remember. And I was like, well, wait, Zoe just posted a grind calculator. Okay, let me pull that up during the.
You go to Discord and pull it up during the race. That's fantastic.
Let me pull it up, and like just as the seed ending, I get to it. I was like, make a copy, and I was like, I don't know how to make a copy. Expletive, and so yeah, I'm like, okay, I think it's 6 times 2 would be enough, but I'm gonna do 7, and then I miscounted and ended up doing 8, and I saw 1.1 million. I'm like, well, this ended up being like 3 minutes longer than it needed to be.
It worked out though.
But yeah, like getting 10 key items end up being the difference, because as I'm seeing, PK is doing low HP strats, which I think in absence of a 10 key item grind is more often than not the way to go, especially you have it optimized. But if you have 10 key items, like my grind was pretty bad, but if you do it correctly, you should be in and out of there in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, we saw PK after getting the 10 key items go through Dwarf Castle just to get the experience to get Sid's HP up. Went into Threemus before you, unfortunately took a wipe, but you just finished your grind, ran straight down the lunar subterranean, and got it done.
Yeah, we've both been kind of practicing those particular strats, knowing not just against each other, but knowing who our possible second round opponent would be. Who, if it happens to be Zilch, I haven't seen the results to the race yet. If it happens to be Zilch, there is no better in this tournament at those strats than him. So we kind of have to have that in the bag. So I'm not surprised to see him go for it. I totally respect the attempt. I do feel like with 10 key items, you just take the grind and go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead, Chief Muncher.
With a game 3 in your future, do you change your approach at all? Did you change it going into this match?
Not really. I feel like the barriers I have to get to where I want to be in this game are not something that's going to be fixed in a week. So like, just as long as I'm, constantly practicing and, staying in shape, it's going to be okay. As far as strategy goes, like PK has his few, habits. So do I. There's plenty of tape on both of us. So like there are a few things that I will do or not do, but those situations haven't come up in either of these races. So
you're joined by our second place finisher, PK.
I'm just waiting for him
on Saturday potentially. How do you feel?
I feel like I wonder how many nerfed Big Bangs Rosa dies to at 11:47. But I mean, I knew when I took that wipe that it was like, it was probably over.
Yeah. So the unfortunate thing about those particularly bold strategies is that they can take a while, and if they go poorly, they go poorly.
Yeah, well, 1200 is supposed to be the cutoff, so I thought we would be safe. We were not safe. Maybe if I moved some gear over, it wouldn't have been an issue. But yeah, I mean, GG Fleury. I was at 10 key items. I wanted to get a little spicy with it, and it certainly bit me there.
But you both played well. Fleury expressed some concerns about some mistakes made, but I think you both had some good moments in the seat as well.
Yeah, it was a fun seed. It was slightly less linear than our first one. Granted, that was like an hour 2 to 59 minutes, so it had to have been a little less linear. But overall, yeah, I I think there were a lot more options that you could take in that seed, and all of them were probably a decent idea.
Yep.
Something I wanted to ask both of you is actually both of you, once you had the package, went to Mist, saw it was Rydia, reset out, even though the package check was an objective. What was the purpose of that?
Do you want to answer that, PK? You want me to?
You can take this one.
So if the second objective that we were missing was the Sand Ruby, right? So to get into that, you have to go into Kaipo. So if you do package first, the instant you walk into Kaipo, you trigger the second half of the package cutscene. And I don't think that minute and a half is worth it unless Tella is the character there.
Yeah, that's what chat was saying, that it was most likely going to be about getting through the cutscene and avoiding extra ones.
Yeah, I think probably we both wanted a Tella. If it was a Tella, it's worth it. If it's not a Tella, if we're gonna forge or do Sand Ruby, we got to come back down anyway. So there's not, you don't want to risk that cutscene, and there's not a huge point in knocking that out until Crystal is in hand.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
So, PK, I'll ask the same thing I asked Fleury. With Game 3 coming up, do you change your approach at all? Do you continue going the same way you have been? What are you thinking?
I don't think I actually... Fleury said we might have some reads on each other. It's hard to say. All good plans last until you push A and start the race. So, I have some ideas. There's always, fading antlion, and then it turns into darkness crystal.
Stop it.
I didn't go there first, okay? I went there after Fabul, and I was like, oh, it's darkness. Of course it's darkness. Have an edge up there too, just for flashback's sake.
He wants to win with the Mura altar play first and the moon. I'll tell you that right now. He wants to win with the Murasame altar.
All right, you heard it here first. Watch out for the early Murasame altar on Saturday.
Yeah, that would have been an idea, honestly. I thought you were gonna take that hourglass and do the hair dryers. Honestly, it doesn't sound like you did.
I used it on Dark Imps.
Yeah, okay, same.
As we wrap up, any final thoughts on the seed from either of you?
Well, no, this was a much more entertaining seed than Race 1. I'm sure Race 3 will be really good. I want to give a shout out to my sister Tara again, who's watching in stream. And yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate you taking the time to do commentary, the tracking, and the restreaming. Yeah, GPS has rolled me 2 winners, so let's get them in here for round 3.
Can I ask one more question before we get out of here?
Sure.
Who is the most Michigan State boss, and why is it Bigan?
I'm gonna go with Mateen Cleaves because he did win a title with them. So there you go.
I would say the most Michigan State boss is something like Water Hag when you don't have the damage to get through Water Hag, because it can be really rude if you run into it in the wrong place. But most of the time, you're probably gonna weather the storm. At least that's how the Final Four usually goes for us.
All right, well, thanks for racing tonight, you guys. Thanks for letting us restream you, and looking forward to seeing the exciting conclusion to this series on Saturday.
Yeah, best of luck on Saturday night.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks guys.
And before we sign off, we're going to run you through the restream races we have tomorrow. Times given are in Eastern Daylight Time, GMT -4. We have Aizen Tayama versus Zyrak at 8 o'clock on Free Enterprise Prime. And then we have the hotly anticipated next round of Dusty Grip versus Invenerable at 9 p.m. on RPG Limit Break. In the booth with me tonight was Sheep Launcher. We had Gundam Pilot Spaz on Restream. We had Kairu on Tracking. I'd like to thank everybody for their help tonight in making us able to put on a good show. And I believe where we're going next is Poorly Drawn Bees. And as a reminder, please do not talk about the spoilers for the race outside the designated spoiler channel, which you can find on our Discord. Have a great night, everyone.
But we'll give poorly drawn B some love. So, so long, everybody.